When you know a tenant personally, or they're willing to pay large upfront sums of cash for rent, do you need to screen them? Is this landlord fact or landlord fiction? Find out in today's video. I'm Jennifer Rowlands, landlord, educator, advocate, and broker at One Focus Property Management. So you've put your property up for rent, you've prepared it, you've put a nice advertisement up, and now the inquiries start rolling in. Now this is great, but it's an intimidating process because you have to pick the right tenant, the tenant who's going to abide by that lease, all its obligations, and pay the rent to you in a timely manner. So you don't know how you're going to make these decisions all the time, and that's usually when somebody from your sphere of influence shows up, or maybe somebody shows up willing to pay large sums of upfront cash. So we could be talking to our friend, to our boss's sister, to somebody who's willing to pay 6 months of rent upfront. And this sounds amazing. This is the certainty that you wanted as an investor. You wanted to know that you had a safe, reliable tenant to put into that property. You didn't want to figure out how to run their credit report, their criminal report, call their former landlords, or even check with their employer to see if these pay stubs are legitimate. So this is perfect, right? Well, it is much easier to allow our casual knowledge of a person to guide our decisions, but you should have guessed it, this is a landlord myth. Even when the tenant is someone that you know well, or is associated with someone that you know well, or they're willing to pay large sums of cash upfront for rent, this does not mean you can sacrifice your tenant application process. Now, you can accept rent early. There's no problem with that. However, don't ever allow that fact that the person's willing to pay rent early to impact your approval decision. It's two separate issues, whether or not they're approved, and then if they're going to pay rent early. Our experience in tenant selection is very deep, and my personal experience is 20 years in the making, having approved thousands of tenants to rent, and then been able to follow and watch those outcomes as they completed their tenancies. That experience tells me that tenant application screening is the #1 tool we have to affect outcomes, and that we need to do this based on facts, not assumptions or portrayals. I know you want to rent this property quick, and it can be awkward when this person is a friend or a friend of a trusted person of yours to ask them to be subject to your tenant application process. My best advice is that you do it anyway. Never compromise your process for anyone. Keep it standard, and you'll find that you get better results. The consequences of deviating from your tenant application process are very expensive for landlords. And I know this because I untangle these sorts of problems all the time for our clients. And the issue is that once this tenant is not performing, you have issues of legality, contracts, non-payment, property damage, but then it's mixed up with these feelings of emotion and betrayal because there was a level of trust in this person that you put in them that really wasn't well placed. So when you have all those emotions, it makes the problem just a lot harder for you to handle. So do yourself a favor, put together the best application process that works for you and your business, and never deviate from it. I hope you enjoyed today's video and that you'll engage in the conversation. Give us a like, leave us a comment, or share this video with an investor friend of yours. Until next time.